Okay, in this video, I am going to wrap text around a building. And then I'm also going to clean it up with a mask a little bit. So I already have this file. So I'm going to open up my file, corner view of the old post office building. And this is what I'm going to do. The very first thing I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to click on my type school tool, and then I'm not going to draw a text box. I'm just going to click here, and I'm going to, in all caps, do perspective. Okay, now I'm not going to make this a lot bigger. I'm just going to make it a little bigger. And I could, increase my font size here, but instead, I'm going to click down on this T and then drag this. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I need to have this highlighted first. I'm going to drag this over and I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. Not a lot, but a little bit. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I'd also like to change the color. So I have this black box here. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to click on white and I'm going to click on OK. Okay, so this is what I've got here right now, these letters, perspective. And so I need to get my layers windows on. So I'm going to make sure I have my layers on. Here they are. So here's my background. Here's the perspective. So what I need to do is rasterize this letter, perspective. And what I mean by that is that I'm going to get all the background out of those letters so I just have the letters. So this is how I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold down my control button, and then over here in the layers, I'm going to click on the T, not on the perspective, not on the I, but on the T. And then look what happens. All of these, just the letters are highlighted and selected. So I want to copy those. So while those are rasterized like that, I'm going to do Control C to copy. And then I'm going to deselect this. And I'm going to get rid of that visibility. So I clicked on that I, okay? Now I want to do something to this building. I already have the perspective loaded. So Control C, I've copied it. It's kind of on my clipboard. But now I want to do something to the building. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to go over here in the layers window and I'm going to click on this plus. And so I'm going to make sure I'm in this plus in this layer. And then I'm going to go up here in the menu to filter vanishing point. Okay. So I'm going to do Control plus so I can get a little closer here. And this is what I'm going to do. I am going to I'm in this create plane tool. And so I'm going to create two kind of planes, Plane, one on the left, one on the right of the corner. And then I'm going to kind of bend my text to work with that. So with this create plane tool selected, I'm going to come over here to this corner, okay? And at the top of the corner, I'm going to click. And then do you see there's a line now that's kind of weaving around? I just want to go straight down. And I'm going to go fairly far down. And I'm going to click there. Then I'm going to click around. I'm going to be along these tops of these windows over to the column, click there. And so now you can see I have three sides. Now I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on my fourth side. And then you see this whole grid appears. So that's great. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but I'm going to do it a little differently. Do you see I have this center midpoint here? I'm going to press on Control, and then I'm going to drag that midpoint over to the end. Okay. Now then I'm going to let go. Now you can see this is not quite right. So I'm going to have to adjust it by playing with these midpoints and making sure that this side is right too. Okay. So I've done that. and I have a plane on both sides. The grid is just, on the side that I did last. Okay. So now I'm going to do Control V. And that I have to kind of come out here. That those letters that I put before, they just kind of came up because I did Control V. Now this is important, and sometimes I forget to do this. I need to come over here to the left-hand side and find my transform tool. Do you see it here? It's kind of a dotted square with an arrow in it, and I'm going to click on that transform tool. Then I'm going to come over and drag look how cool that is. Like as I drag it using the reform tool, it wraps around this building. So I'm going to put it right here. Okay. I'm going to kind of just put it right there. And then I'm going to let go. And if I like the way it looks, I'm going to press OK. Okay. So this is cool. It wraps around the building, but it doesn't look like it's painted on that brick, right? And so I would like it to look a little bit more like it was painted on that brick. So in the layers, this layer 1 here, this has that warped text that's wrapped around. So I'm going to double click on layer 1, actually over here on the square. And this layer style comes up. And what I'm interested in is I'm going to use the underline layer. I'm going to move this over. And I want you to see what kind of happens. What this does, do you see how it's kind of changing the brick? And I want to, kind of do it in a subtle way. But what it does is if there's a shadow underneath it, it doesn't have it adhere. Okay, so it looks more blended that way, which looks kind of cool. So I'm going to press OK. Okay. And now I'm going to do some finer work. And what I want to do is, let me show you, I'm going to kind of get real close here. Okay. So let's say these letters were painted on the building, okay? The letters would not be in the windows, okay? So I want to get rid of some of the letters, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to my layer 1, and I'm going to add a mask layer. That's this square with a circle in it. So I'm going to click on that. And do you see how that kind of added this mask layer? So I'm going to click on that mask layer. And then I'm going to come over here to my toolbox, and I'm going to press on the brush tool. Okay. So I'm on the brush tool. Now, this is what I want to do with my brush tool. I want the size to be small, and I want to pick a brush that's hard and round. If you don't see this where it says general brushes, soft round, hard round, etc., you can go over here to the settings and make sure it says brush name. So I kind of do brush name. I just got rid of my brush name. Now I'm going to do brush name, and I want the hard round, and I want it small. I want it about 10 here. Okay. So now I have that, and I want my brush. I'm coming back here to my tools, and you see there's 2 square colors at the bottom of the tool. The top one is the foreground. So I want my foreground to be kind of black. Okay. And then I'm going to do this fine work. So I'm going to get real close to this. Remember, I've got my brush, and I am going to brush over window. Okay. And so it's going to take me a while to do this, but that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to kind of come over here, do the same thing. So I'm just assuming that it would not be drawn in the window. And I should probably be more careful with this than I'm being, but that's the way this works. And you can see it already looks kind of a lot better, right? And then down here, I'm going to kind of do the same in the circle. So the perspective is not in these circles. You know what? I think I did too much, so I'm going to do Control V and I'm going to start that again. So I'm going to undo what I just did. I'm going to get real careful as I can. And you can get real close in. I'm doing this quick because I don't want this to be so, I don't want this to take so long. I am going to pause this video for a second and then I am going to work on this and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I have cleaned this up a little bit. You can kind of see what it looks like. On this side, with the shadows, you're seeing a lot less of them because, you were not seeing in these arches over the window, not here either. And so that's kind of what it looks like right now. I'll get a little closer just so that you can see in. If I do Control Plus, that's what that looks like. And so once I'm done with that, I export it. So I do File, Export, and then I can do just a quick export as a PNG. And then I make that Wilkerson K underscore, and then I'm going to do perspective and then save it. And that's what I'm going to be submitting.